us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Well, good morning. How you doing? It is Sunday, March 9th, 2025. Welcome to episode 252 of The Thinking Theologian as we continue our journey through the scriptures. So today we read Deuteronomy 30 and 31. The title of today is Building Up Leaders is a Gift from God. The focal scripture is Deuteronomy 31, 7a, or like A and B, just minus the last sentence. So it says, Moses then summoned Joshua and said to him in the sight of all Israel, be strong and courageous, for you will go with this people into the land the Lord swore to give to their ancestors. So how the end comes for a leader speaks a lot about them as a person. Are you going to transition power over effectively, or are you going to hold on to it and cause issues and drama? Because there are a lot of people who are in leadership that are in leadership because they like power, instead of actually leading people and leading them well. And sometimes leading well means that there's somebody else, realizing there's somebody else better in a position than you are, and allowing that person to take that position, or maybe time just a transition to take place. And so Moses knew his time was up. His leadership was coming to an end, but he still wanted to pass on the leadership in a healthy way, which is needed. I've seen leadership not be done, not done in a healthy way, and it caused many problems. Moses did not try to hang on to his position longer than was needed. And there are a lot of leadership who do that. They know their leadership time is over, damage has been caused, but yeah, they hold on to it because they're afraid to step out in faith, or move from their position because they're more concerned about the immediacy instead of looking at the long-term effects of what they're doing. And there's a lot of people that do that. So Moses lifted up Joshua in front of the entire assembly of people. There was no jealousy. There was no buts in a sentence. There was no jealous over what he's doing and saying, but he can't do this or but he can't do that. Moses was an encouragement to Joshua and demonstrated that new leadership was on the way. Phenomenal leadership here by Moses, by showing that, hey, this is the person that's in charge. I support him. You support him. We're going to go forward and we're going to move forward with this. So the takeaway for believers today is having a good leadership team around you to make transition smooth. So many times churches do not make good leadership positions. So you will never have a perfect team, but you should have a team that cares for one another. So when you're building a team as a leadership person, make sure you have people that complement each other, that enhance your weaknesses and have their own individual strengths. You shouldn't have a team that looks all together. And Moses here had a leader in Joshua that was different than him and emphasized different strengths that helped lead them for where they were going next. And so in today's culture, good church leadership can be hard to find. There are many places in churches that have poor leadership, and that is always a reflection of what's happening here in the front, of what's going on. And so today's church culture, church leadership can be hard to find. Too often, sometimes staff members bicker, have agendas, and even talk about others they work with behind their backs. It causes a very toxic environment. Church members should expect more from their leaders. Many churches have leaders who have multiple personalities. They are kind and nice to the movers and shakers. Then they are mean and controlling to those who think and act different than them. However, we have a better example in these verses. Moses did not have an ego. Moses rooted for his successor. Moses promoted Joshua publicly and lifted up his ministry. Moses was for success of the people, whether he was in charge or not. Great leaders know that when their time is up and get out of the way for new leadership to take over. The lesson here is to be a leader who cares about your people and lifts them up and not tear them down. Moses demonstrated this. Encouragement goes a long way. Smart leaders promote those who are skilled and watch them flourish. Poor leaders look to destroy those who are skilled. And so good leaders encourage those who are skilled and build them up and give them more opportunities to lead. Poor leaders try to diminish that and try to hide them away, or even go after them publicly, which I have seen other people do that. So we went over leadership several times this year in our reading. It is a major theme in the Old Testament. Unfortunately, most people do not know how to lead or want to learn biblical principles of leadership. Thankfully, Moses shows how to transition leadership effectively, even under difficult circumstances. If you are a leader reading this, especially in a church setting, make sure you are leading God's church well, not just holding on to a paycheck. If it is time to move on, it will benefit you and the church as a whole. And so, please know that this makes a big difference. And this is close to my heart because I've seen people in leadership who are holding on to leadership longer than they should have, and it causes damage to to the church. I've also seen people who are just bad leaders who don't leave a place they're at, and it causes even more damage to the people around because people see there's an issue, but they hold on to it, even though they know that they're not a right fit for the location they are. And it's time for new leadership to take over. So tomorrow we'll be in Deuteronomy 32 through 34. Thank you for being with us today.